Hey everyone, and welcome to Razor'sEdgeGames.org. This is Outlaws of the Old West. This is a curator review. It's a little early to be reviewing a game. I know the reviews are mixed, but let me tell you a lot about the team. First of all, they do have an official Discord. A lot of your answers to your questions can be found there. There's not a lot of documentation, so it's going to be confusing about what do I need to build a door. And right now, there's actually a bug where two people can't be in the same grid. And I'll show you grids, and that actually will be fixed today. The devs have been very communicative with and engaged with the player base. So I don't really want to compare this to an Atlas or one of the other games that we previously played, MMOs. My wife and I set up a private server. You can do that. I'll even post the settings for CMD or steamcmd if you'd like to host your own. Public servers, I can't comment. I have no idea. I tried connecting to a few and I couldn't get on. But those issues have also been worked out in it says 2 patches, but there's been 3. So let me show you the game, and I'll start with the cons and we'll go to the pros, and then we'll just give it an overall 3-day review. So the first thing you'll notice is there's a single player, which basically runs a Unity, or not Unity, but it's Unreal Engine instance on your own machine, or you can play online. And I'll tell you, it's not Red Dead Redemption. It's not. It's got some functionality like Red Dead. There's no story. It's very open world. You sort of build your own frontier with your friends. So we've hosted our own server right here. I'm gonna lock it. So pause for the password. You do get a nice little gunshot when you click on the button. Now, I've built quite a bit. We've tested Wagons. They've been a little buggy. No pun intended. But fishing's great. There's nets for fishing. So this is not our regular building. I had to move to a different grid than my wife, so we didn't crash each other with fatal errors. Which is okay. And here's the map, and I literally went from here to there, and it took about I'd say 20 to 30 real-time minutes, and that's just half the map. So a lot of distance. You can see the graphics even on low settings for speed are actually really beautiful. Daytime, nighttime, there's weather effects. They're working on some automation on the horses. Right now, you have to manually feed them. So I can force him to eat. I got a donkey right now. As soon as they get the automation working with eating, we'll be able to have mounts stay alive. But you can see there's a saddle slot. On the horses, there's a saddle and horseshoes. There's a feeding slot. They do level up as you use them. These are all the equipment slots, and there's quite a bit. So everything is really modular in building. You basically equip the hammer, and there's different hammers. A lot of people have asked about doors. The wooden doors don't seem to work. I don't know if they missed it or what, but if you build the other hammer, which is a more advanced hammer, You can do a metal / wooden door, and those work just fine, even in on those slots. So these are the different crafting stations. All of these are accessible from your own personal crafting menu. You've got carpentry bench, the saw table, which is for making planks and paper. There's a hat and shoe bench. There's a ton, I mean just a ton of like gear. Chemistry bench, which is basically for making the gunpowder for your weapons. There's a saddle station. There's saddles that have different, they say comfort levels, but it boils down to more slots, inventory slots for your horse. There's the wagons. There's actually a carriage, a stagecoach that can carry up to 6 people. We tested it with 3. It works great. Bounty boards, you can actually hire mercenaries to guard your base. I'm not sure what all they do. I still have to figure out glass. I do have some traps. There's trapping in here. And you can set and reset. Basically, to interact with almost anything is a right click on the object when it's highlighted. You can reactivate, you can deactivate, pick up. The river is down there. If I look at the map, you can see, I'll zoom in. It's right down here. Our base is over here, and it's quite big. And hopefully in another video I can show you. But these are like the basics for animal. There goes a pig. There's a lot of animals here too, a lot of different kinds. But lassos are kind of nice. You basically run into the animal you want to tame, and it's a little mini game, a slider bar. You hook them and then basically tame them. There's a storage slot. I do have to empty this periodically because it just fills up with garbage. But I can force him to eat. You can see the level go down as they eat. Then if I look at the horse, his water level, and there they go up. And there's different wells. Couple things on Rawhide. You can convert Rawhide to leather, and you want to make sure you catch all the resources if it's leather or Rawhide for the item. Like on this particular jacket, it's Rawhide. When it says leather, it means it'll say refined leather, but it's actually leather, so don't get confused there. Sleeping bags are like spawning points. Same thing with the carriages. Those do act as spawning points. You can bound to them. You can see the crafting menu here for like yarn, wool. There's a sleeping bag in here. This is where you make the lasso. And this is just the loom. Sawmills, just basically taking logs and turning them into the planks, and you'll see in later on there's planks. Cooking, same thing. Smokers. One thing we did notice is when the servers are restarted, all the fuel is gone. So you want to make sure you pick up the fuel. Same thing with your horses. If you got saddles and horseshoes, you want to put those back in your inventory. There's different tools. There's two-handed axes, one-handed axe. All of it boils down to durability. There's the axe. So you basically just go up to the resource. It's a little flaky at times. I mean, it's only 3 days in, and there's a lot to do with what they have. I know the reviews are mixed, but I'll tell you, I really think it's just people without patience on early access is normal. Salt for recipes. You can see down there is the river. They did add some bandits. There's a special bandit clan. I can't remember the name. It's in the release notes. They're pretty brutal. Single bandits, typically you can knock them out even if they've got guns with about, I don't know, 4 or 5 arrow hits to the head. Storage is very generous. Even with the small storage containers, you get quite a few slots. You can see the water level drop when I drink from the well. Some of the things I don't like when I said Red Dead Redemption, which is a AAA studio. I mean, I don't expect a whole lot compared to an indie team, a big studio. But I mean, the horses, they turn. It's kind of clunky. It's not real fluid. And one of the things I don't like is the fact that if I turn, the horse turns. So you kind of have to arrow over. So if you're hunting, there's my bow. You kind of have to counter steer the horse as you're running along. And donkeys don't move real fast. I'll warn you now. They're pretty slow. I mean, I can run faster than... Now, when you're on a horse, you can actually access both. And one thing I noticed is that animals do drink when you go through water. They do swim. You can see his water level just went up. Sadly, mine do not. I have to get off the mount. And you can have them follow you. And they will walk away. Now here's one of the reasons I set my settings down. It's easier to resource. As you can see, the fiber plant looks kind of faded like that until you get right up on it. It just made it really easy. The other thing I noticed is there's not a whole lot of difference except for vegetation on the higher to lower settings. So not a lot of loss there. There's a bear up there. A lot of animals. I think I said that, but I can't stress it enough. These are coal nodes. We'll pluck some coal here. Little flaky on the hitboxes, which I think is some of the complaints on PvP. They are working on some anti-griefing using mallets, just tearing down foundations. But it does really give you a feeling of open world. There's a lot of different structures. Just a lot of stuff to see. We've really had a good time. We've explored. And I do recommend if you have a server of your own or a machine, it doesn't take a lot to run it. Or if you want to rent one, it's not bad at all. Public servers tend to be a little more brutal. There are PvE and PvP servers, and there's also an RP server, but I really haven't found a whole lot of difference between the two. I think it's just a signification that they're role-playing on the server. Other than that, I couldn't find any difference. are the copper nodes. And you get stone and iron from these. I did a patch yesterday which basically broke just about everything and fixed it within a few hours. So not a lot of lost love. No, but I mean, yeah, we didn't get our fix. I came home excited. I wanted to play. But wait a few hours and we were back up in action. Now hopefully as we develop on and get glass and some of the other stuff, I can show you the bounty board. I have seen them in other videos, which there are a few, and I highly recommend before you make your purchase, look at some of the buildings. That's probably one of the best features, the flexibility that you have. I actually have the music turned down, and that's probably one of the nicest things in here. Actually, no, I don't. There is in-game voice chat. I don't know if I haven't tested it, mainly because my wife sits across from me. But as far as building pieces, there's quite. I mean, you can build churches. She's got a church that looks just like a church. She's building out a whole town on her own. But I'm gathering wood. I got killed by a bear yesterday. So I'm actually recouping all the stuff that I lost. Now on a horse I could chase this thing down. He's gonna get away. Take on it. Oh, on a horse he'd have been mine. I gotta get rid of this donkey. It was like the first thing I found. Resources are very generous. It's not a grind. It doesn't take 2 years to build a canoe. You can literally, I built the wagon in about, I think, 2 hours. The hardest part of the wagon was getting enough of the hemp to make the cloth. The waypoints are nice, including on death. You get a little X. You just slap a waypoint on the map and head towards the waypoint. You are going to need a lot of plant fiber and hemp, mainly for rope and just different material. But overall, I really like the roadmap. The devs definitely have a plan for the game, and they're not winging it. There's no system that's in that's uncompleted. And when I say systems, I mean like complete systems, like aging, anything like that. They're not putting the cart before the horse. There are things that are in the game that don't work yet. I think farming is one with the seeding of plants. Oh, this donkey's horrible. He's moving like I feel. I'm eating cactus because you get the water and the food. Had some cooked meat. Oh, I put it on him. Borrow that from you. The storms, the skybox are beautiful. You actually get the rolling lightning storms coming in that you expect in the, if you've ever been out west. Watching a storm come through on a rolling plane is really cool. They did a wonderful job with the skybox. So I just lasso him. Once he's tamed, you don't have to play the little mini game. I am off, and he is now tied to the horse pull, the hitch. So I've been working on a second floor, just kind of, let's see, I do have some resources now, so I'll show you how just easy the building is. So basically with a hammer, you just right click. You've got miscellaneous, these are all your different stairs, there's the log door. This is what people have been complaining, oh, planks. Duh. I'm gonna try that and see if that does work with this hammer. But if I want to put a window in there, you can see I just snap it in. And they are all functional. Except I think that's probably backwards. It should be on the outside. Same thing with wall pieces and ceilings, which I've been finishing up. There's different kinds of ceilings. As you can see, there's gable roofs, corner pieces. I'm just doing a flat just for simplicity, since this is temporary. But everything just literally snaps in. It's pretty simple. And we're done. Second floor is finished. Just need the doors. And I did this literally in about 2 hours. Here's your lights. You've got different torches, lanterns, lamps. There's oil pumps. Oh my god, there's just so many. You can see all the stations in there. Different kinds of stoves, just for simplicity, if you like. They all do pretty much the same thing. They just different sizes. I like it for cosmetic look. I like the fireplace with the chimney, but there is like a Lincoln stove. So I'm going to use the upstairs just to build the rest of the stations. But I mean, right now, as the game stands, I would give this thing, I mean, it's got bugs, but it's early access. Again, I'll give my same speech. If you don't like early access and rolling with punches and potential wipes, you'll want to hold off until it's a little more stable. But if you do enjoy working with the dev teams to help them make the games better, by participating and logging bugs and helping them track bugs down, they tend to turn out to be great games. I'm gonna make a couple item pieces here. These are like the basic clothing. They all take rawhide. We can make a pair of boots. It's just as simple as clicking on it. I think I've seen about maybe 100 different combinations of costumes, which are really well done. The fringe on the pants and the jacket, different looks, like a raccoon hat. I mean, pretty much anything you want to do, however you want to look. There's some nice customization. I can craft these into planks. I don't want to do all the wood though. Splitting is a little awkward. You hold the shift key down and basically split the stack. It's not like a half and a drag. I do have 35 planks. I probably don't need a whole lot more. you can do a craft all. The same thing, hold the shift key down. And then you can walk away. And you do gain experience from all of that. These are all your stats. There is guild functions, so you can set up a guild. There's not a lot of functionality in the guild as far as admin roles. But you can set up a guild. You can invite friends. It's going to be a notification. So if you hit escape and you go to notifications, whoops, wrong one, sorry. If you hit escape and go to social, you'll see guild options. It's just the member list isn't showing all the members. There's actually 3 of us in the guild. So, I mean, it's in the works. But I mean, at least you've got partying ability, so you're not killing each other. Unless, of course, you want to. There's pending invites. If somebody said they invited you for a friend or a guild invite, it's going to be there. So I did a little pause there while it was nighttime. It is a little dark. I don't have a lot of lighting. One thing I will say, there's different biomes. You've got mountain areas up here. There's a lot of bandits. Up in this area, if you follow the river, there's a plains area. It's pretty like grassy area, different vegetation. You got pine trees, just all kinds of different trees. But I wanted to drop in, so I'm going to build another station. I'll show you how to do that. Not that anyone's stupid, I just want to show you how easy it is. So I'm going to build the clothing station just so I can show you some of the clothing. So there's a sewing bench and I'm missing iron ore. Crap, I did not come prepared. Go back downstairs. You can see some of the ice caps up there. There is tools for collecting that. There's a fridge that uses the ice. It's not an electric fridge. So I just go to crafting. Oh, there's a gunsmith. Wonder if I should build that. I need the chemistry. I don't know if I have enough for that. Well, I'll do the sewing. So I just click on that, wait for the counter. It'll pop up in my inventory here. Everything you do is experience. If you're in a group, it's a shared experience, which is nice. Kind of like the ARC feel. Then I just drag it to my bar and use the middle mouse button to scroll around. Position it where you want. If it's tinged orange, it can't be built there. If it shows up solid, you can build it. We'll drop it in there. And if I go in here, you can see, I mean, this is just this. There's boots and hats in another station. But these are just some of the clothing pieces. Bandanas, gloves, shirts, vests. There's a nice duster jacket, a coat. All those do affect temperature, so you want to be aware of that. If you load up with heavy leather, you're going to overheat. And they did up the overheat, I think, to 160 Fahrenheit now, or 130. I don't know. It was really low, and it was pretty easy to overheat. And to craft something, you just actually have to have the resources in your inventory, and you just pick what you want. If it's in red, you don't have what you need. Like here, you can see wool or cotton. All that's made on the loom. I'm gonna grab this little ferret or badger. They are aggressive until you hit them, then they run. I think I can make one more station. Carpentry. So I can get that gunsmith. Let's take a look at that. There's a distillery for brew. Grinder. And this is all just stuff from your character build. There's a beehive for honey and beeswax. There's the fishing net I was talking about. You basically place that in the river, it'll collect fish. You can build a fishing pole and or craft one. There's a fish trap. Let's take a look at the weapons we can make. It's kind of nice as you craft, the movable parts do move. So there you go. There's all the weapons, ammunition. You can see I need gunpowder. I'm going to need the chemistry table. There's a target in there for practicing. Here's all your different pistolas, your shotguns, rifles, dispenser. When you kill bandits, a lot of times they'll drop ammo. Once in a while you will get a weapon off of them. They do take a durability hit like anything in your inventory. You can see the little slider. The white shows the damage or durability loss, and the gray area is the life left. Ball ammo. So we can start making guns. I just got to make the chemistry table. So I'm gonna have a nice little outpost. Hopefully today they'll fix the fatal error with more than 2 characters in a grid. And when I say grid, I mean these boxes. So if you're getting fatal errors today when you're watching this and they haven't patched yet, just split up. My wife's over here, Sleepwalker's over here, and we're all just building little outposts, which is kind of nice because in each biome we'll have a little area to store and drop stuff off. But our big fort's in that main area where my wife is. The ambient sounds are really nice. You can see the edge of the plains up there where it starts to change from a desert to more of a plain grassy area. And it does really give you the feel of the Old West, and I like that. They've stayed true. There's no pop cans and stupid items that didn't belong in the time period, so I do like that. So I am going to give this a good review for now. Just for the simple fact the dev team is really on top of all the issues. They did release the game with quite a few systems. It's not an empty shell. And they seem pretty aggressive, and they're taking a lot of feedback from the players. It's far from polished. I'll give you that. There's some graphic optimization that needs done. Some targeting, trajectory. But overall, I definitely think for the price, as cheap as it is, it's definitely worth the money. I've gotten more than my money's worth already. If I can get more than 30 hours out of a game, even for 24 or 25 bucks, I've already made. I got my entertainment factor. There's a bounty system I didn't talk about. If you're on a PvP or a PvE, even in a PvE server, if there's killing going on, you can actually collect bounties. There's money and coin, which you'll use the coin to hire your mercs. There's probably more coming with the money system. But overall, in a nutshell, that's some of the game. I mean, I've really just touched the surface of what you can do in this game so far. And hopefully you found it informative. As always, if they abandon the game or it turns for the worst, I will change the review. And with an apology that I misrepresented the game. I play no favorites. There's nothing I hate worse than abandonware, but a lot of that has to do with users. If people quit playing and quit supporting the game, there's nothing left for these small teams to do but fold. So but I am having fun. Our server has room on it. I'm not recruiting, but if you want to play a PvE server, we've got one set up. It's Razor's Edge. Just ping me, hit me up on Twitter. The developers do have a Twitter. I'll put that in there as well. I'll put the official Discord. And I also will put the command batch file that we as a user community on the day of release figured out how to set up so we could do our own private servers versus paying for hosting. So I'll put that in there as well. Feel free to comment on the Steam comments. I have got comments disabled on the channel, and I apologize for that. I just got tired of keeping up with the negative people's opinions of our community's review on games. So we tend to be a little bit lenient on indie developers than maybe some others. So thanks for watching as always. Thanks for the community. You guys are awesome. If you're watching this today, have a great weekend. And we'll see you next game. I'll definitely do another video on this game, showing off some of the biomes, some of the progress, as we've done with a lot of the games. And definitely appreciate your support. It's awesome. The website's doing great. It's for streamers that cover, you know, any channel that covers indie games and indie developers. That's the whole focus. There was an idea I had a year ago, and it's going better than I ever thought it would. And it's all free. It's just basically eliminating some of the PR costs and promoting of games and channels, helping people get a quick start. So anyway, rambling. Thanks for watching. Have a great day, and we'll see you on the next video. Take care.